let's deal with the aspects as to where Yahushua now bear the same punishment which was promised to Solomon, which Solomon didn't bear, and he died of old age. Same spirit, different vessel, which shows that Yahushua HaMashiach was Solomon in one of his incarnations. We also have one where he was also Isaac, Melchizedek, and Adam, which we all have proof of, but we could only finish this one as much as we can tonight. If we can, we can jump on the rest on another time, but let's try and finish this one before we go and sleep, because it's already a late time. All right, let's read from verses Matthew 27 and verse 24. The point is at verse 26, which is right there, which when you get in the NLT, it shows you also what was done. It says, when Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye to it. Then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and our children. So they didn't care. All right. Then released he Barabbas unto them, and when he had scourged Jesus, or Yahushua, he delivered him to be crucified. So let me read it. So in NLT, so Pilate, so because that word scourge goes into go into the words of scourged, right? So like scourged, right? Which is to whip, to lash as a public punishment or scourge. This is what it's going into, which the word for it is
Strong's G 5417. Fragilao.
Okay, fragilao.
Fragilao.
All right. So as you go into it, now we're going back now into the NLT also to give more clarification. It says Pilate released Barabbas to them. He ordered Jesus flogged with a lead-tipped whip, which the only material that shows stripes when it attacks a human body. Then turned him over to the Roman soldiers to be crucified. So, as you can see, according to prophecy, he will be receive the stripes of men, which he did, which Yahushua did, not Solomon. So Yahushua is now living out that particular judgment that Solomon was promised to, as Yahushua, as he would establish his kingdom. He's going to live it out. But let's go back to 2 Samuel chapter 7, going into verses 15 to what it says before we continue. It says, but my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. Now, the reason why I bring into this, because when you go into also Luke chapter 1, much more clarification as well. Luke chapter 1 and verses 31 and 33, it shows that he's going to do what? 33 it says, and behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb and bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua. He shall be great, and he shall be called the Son of the Highest, and Yahushua shall give unto him the throne of his father David, and he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever, for of his kingdom there shall be no end. One direct precept lining up who Yahushua was, because that was only promised to Solomon. When it says, he shall build an house for my name, and I will establish his throne of his kingdom forever. But Solomon, it says, but if he transgress, he's going to see the stripes, the chastening of men, and rod of men, rod of men, and stripes of the children of men, which he did in as Yahushai, making these two as one. They are the same spirit, different vessel. I hope you can see it, because this is the reason why Yahushai then, being the high priest, would have that only office, that particular office. You can see why he now would have offer up sacrifice for his own transgressions, as well as for the people, because he had transgressed, not in the vessel of Yahushai, but in the vessel of Solomon, which we can read here. It says, for we know this is going into, come on, right there. So let's go back down to make it clear. For such as an high priest became us, who is holy, harmless, undeniable, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens. Here it says, who needed not daily, as those high priests, to offer up sacrifice first for his own sins, and then for the people's. For this he did once, when he offered up himself, which was also a reference to we call him Isaac being offered up as a sacrifice by Abraham in that story also. But going back into what we're talking about, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, first to offer up a sacrifice for his own sins. Now let's keep that in mind, because when you go back now into 1 Peter chapter 2 and 22, it shows where, I read it again, so for even hereunto were ye called, because of Mashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps, who did no sin. Not sin. He didn't sin. Neither was any guile found in his mouth. So as Yahushai HaMashiach, in his incarnation, in this vessel as Yahushai, he did not transgress. So if you are saying that reincarnation exists, then why the need to have to offer a sacrifice for his sin, which he did not in this incarnation? Why would he have to suffer stripes of men, which was promised to Solomon, but he received it and Solomon did not? Because it's the same spirit, different vessel. This is an undeniable fact at this present point in time. Undeniable fact. If you can't receive it, you just can't receive it. But the point is in the forefront, and anybody who denies it will look like a fool. Because then you will say, so he died for nothing? He would die. Bible says, as the scriptures made it very clear. Let me go back into it again. I'll keep this here. Let me go into the next one. Let's go to the next one. I go into Ezekiel chapter 18 and verses 20. Very clear. It says, again, making it very clear, the soul that sinneth, it shall die. And the son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither the father bear the iniquity of the son. Meaning no generation, no, it's not going to pass on to the generation. No, it's you coming back to face the judgment. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. You have to face your judgment. Nobody's going to face your judgment. So if you do it in a past life, it's going to be required. And when you come back on the earth, you're going to live out your judgment. Which, because under the sun, the place of judgment, what is under the sun? The earth. Very clear. Very crisp. Very understandable. Let's go back into the precept now to fully confirm even more. It says, who did no sin, nor was guile found in his mouth, no deceit, no fraud, none of the above. Who, when he was reviled, reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously. Who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree that we, being dead to sins, should live unto righteousness, who by whose stripes ye were healed. What transgression would Yahushua would have done to receive the same stripes that Solomon was done if in the incarnation of Yahushua he did not transgress? And if you are saying that there's no such thing as reincarnation, then that would mean that this whole argument of Yahushua HaMashiach dying would be unfair, because all that transgress have to live out their judgments, not anybody else living it for them. It is fully well understood. So if you are saying reincarnation is not true, it doesn't exist, then you are also saying that Yahweh is unfair and not just. That's the only way out of it. Sad reality, yeah? Solomon did the act. Yet Yahushua had to pay for the penalty. But the Bible say, hey, your son can't not gonna pay for that, and is you had to pay for it. And if your son transgress, you can't pay for that. He had to pay for it, meaning it's not generation or nothing. You had to pay for your shit. Whether it be in this incarnation or the next one. It's very simple. It's very clear. So the stripe that he had received was because of his reincarnation of Solomon, which was promised to him, which we read in 2 Samuel 7 and verses 14, that if he would transgress, he would be chastened with the rod of men and be beaten with the stripes of men, which he received stripes. Did we not read that in Matthew 27 and 26? This right here is enough to show if you have the spirit to receive or not to. Because he also showed Luke 1 and 31 to 33, which is a promise of Yahushua establishing the kingdom forever, which was promised only to Solomon, which then he transgressed. And again, Yahushua didn't transgress, but had to make a sacrifice for his own sins and of the people. What sin did Yahushua transgress? Yahushua would have committed if he had, if the Bible made it clear that he didn't commit any transgression. Then what would he receive a punishment of death for? The wages of sin is death. If he had not transgressed, why would he be unalive for people? If the scriptures in the law already made it very clear that you have to live out your judgment, you are going to pay that penalty for your iniquity or your transgression. This is now what makes the confusion in Christianity. Now you understand. When you go into Christianity, you read this thing or you how foolish it is. And when you show them this and you apply this to their understanding, it's hard for them to get it. So if you don't have the understanding to this, then there's nothing we can say. But what we know for 100% fact is that Yahushua was Solomon in one of his reincarnations. As much as he was Isaac, as much as he was Melchizedek, as much as he was Adam. But for now, we must conclude the lesson for time's sake and because I have to sleep, because I have to work just now. Next 5 hours, so I have to get up to get ready. So, let's continue 2 more precepts and then we'll close out, showcasing who Yahushua is, which we read again, the book of the generation of Yahushua HaMashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Hint, hint, by the way, I think the next lesson should be Isaac. But let's see how it goes to. But we already prove this is enough proof showcasing reincarnation, regeneration. There's also another precept in, I believe it's Revelation chapter 10 and verses 11, I believe, right, where it says, verses 9, before we close out. So you see how much examples we would have given of many of our people naturally knowing what that reincarnation regeneration exists, it being common knowledge unto them. One, we showed examples of people reincarnating. Elijah into John the Baptist, Solomon into Yahushua HaMashiach. And we're going to show one more precept to confirm this even further. And then we are going to do the due diligence to close out. Let's read here. Revelation chapter 10 and verses 9. It says, and I went upon, I went upon the angel, upon, sorry, so like, why are you saying upon? I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand, and I ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. But as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many people and nations and tongues and kings. So let me ask you a question. How old? Let me just get. Let me just get it so you could see it. All right. Right. So when you look at it, John would have been John the Revelator, not John the Baptist. John the Revelator would have been about 80 to 90 years old. And if he would had to prophesy again, which is in the future, how old do you think he would have to be? That is my question, because at that age, already receiving so much afflictions, yet again, Yahweh Shai providing him mercy that he was able to bear it and come out unscathed. But in the future sense, how long you think, if reincarnation had not exist and he had to come and prophesy again, how long do you think he would have to? He would have. If you think he'll still be this old waiting and now prophesying, make it make sense. Or he would have to come back like Yahushua Hamashiach and Elijah. Now we understand reincarnation and regeneration. This is what it would have to come to, not having to wait and live long, about 2,000 years, and your hair long and gray like this. It's this foolish Edomite that tried to claim he was John. Foolishness. No, is Enoch or somebody? No, is that John or Moses? I believe he was claiming he was Moses. Some foolishness. You lie down in a cave and get up. Get up out the cave. Your hair long and gray. You have a stick and you call it a staff, and you're walking up and down. No wisdom being brought out. You're talking a language that is not pertaining to ancient Hebrew, but more so modern. So how you learn the modern language if that is the case? Foolishness the honor now. So trying to showcase to rile up the Christians and make them feel nice. Yeah. Prophecy coming to pass. Yeah. Come now, man. Are you so... Alright. So let's finish the lesson before we get aggressive, alright? I just hate to see our people so docile and foolish. The evidence is being brought to the forefront and you're denying it. But you believe bullshit like that with no information provided. Because you believe that this is what the scriptures say, rather than what the scriptures really go into. Okay, it is what it is. So, Shalom Yasharala, now we understand the lesson, it's an undeniable fact that reincarnation regeneration exists. So Shalom Yasharala, Kal Halal Yam Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Makakodash. We give double honors to the apostles and prophets and elders of GMS Camp, Eternal's Great Millstone, for they bring forth the 100% truth that have been correctly edified under. Shalom to the elect, the tabernacle of David, and I am a brother Kazak from HOY, which is Heralds of Yahushai, saying to you, Shalom.